What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome to Little Bit Mac Gang, bringing you. Know this means a review for Monday Night Raw. First thing first is I can get everybody to hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button. Also, leave a comment down below what you think of Monday Night Raw. And also, those who are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, become part of the tribe, become part of the family, the growing family. We're so close to 1,200, which is the goal of subscribers. So, what are you waiting for? Become part of the family because I got something coming down the line that you don't want to miss. And you gotta be a subscriber. You gotta hit that notification button to get they see what that is. Also, for that brings me to my next thing. With those are who are subscribed. Thank you, love you, appreciate you for allowing me to entertain you and for choosing me to be your YouTuber. Without you, there is no little bit man game. I'm just sitting here talking to the camera, talking to myself, and I don't want to do that. So, with that being said, not gonna waste no more time. Let's get straight into it. We opened up Raw with Drew McIntyre basically wanting to confront and want some answers to why he was attacked by Mason T-Bar last week. He basically calls out MVP, but before he does, he actually gets into why he's going to be how hard he had to work, what he did to get back to being the number one contender, how he's going to beat Bobby Lashley at Backlash. And no, I'm not calling it WrestleMania Backlash because that's a stupid ass title. I'm calling it Backlash. That's what it's always been. That's what it's going to be for me. Because that's just stupid. That's a stupid title. But, yeah, Backlash. How he's going to say he's going to be Bobby Lashley at Backlash to reclaim the WWE Championship. But then that's when he shifted his focus to MVP and makes it T-Bar. He would call out how he finally convened that, right when right after he was victorious, he would get beat up by Mason T-Bar, and MVP would show up just to watch the action. To which MVP himself did actually come out and said that he had nothing to do with Mason T-Bar and that they wouldn't associate with themselves with them because they just downsized the Hurt business. Why would they downsize only to add more people to it? So he basically said that he had nothing to do with it, but he talked to Drew McIntyre about expecting the unexpected. Like he said, you didn't expect him to be put to sleep by Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. You didn't expect to be attacked by Mason T-Bar. I think he said something else that he didn't expect. And he was like, bottom line is, I know it's cliche, but you need to start expecting the unexpected. I almost got tongue tied there. He fed up with MVP's excuses. Drew McIntyre would come out the ring, talk to him like, oh, so yeah, you don't have nothing to do with Mason T-Bar, blah blah blah, this, blah 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 that. Okay, he basically was about to go attack MVP, but then he was getting attacked by Mason T-Bar yet again, who then cut a backstage promo saying, naming stuff that's extinct and saying that they basically what they meant by naming all these things that's extinct was that when they get their hands on Drew McIntyre later on tonight to finish what they started, he's going to be extinct as well. To which I might add that kind of just ruined the whole mystique of them setting up the match because they pretty much confirmed there was going to be a match later on tonight, even though we didn't know it was going to be a match. Which cut into another promo with Drew McIntyre finding Adam Pearce to make said match, and he basically told Adam Pearce make the match between me versus Mason T-Bar. And he said I can't do that because you're asking for a handicap match. He said please make it because he said I want to go grab a bat and bash him on the head with it, but I'm trying to do it the right way. So he's basically pleading with him to make the match, and if he don't make the match, it will be consequences. And he wouldn't like the consequences. So, and they eventually revealed that he did end up making the match for a 2-on-1 handicap match. The first match of the night would be a rehash of the Viking Riders versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. It pretty much was just a rehash of it would be pretty much a rehash of the first match of the beginning match of last week. But this time they just Shelton Benjamin and them had more offense, but they end up still getting beat by the Viking Riders when they got hit with, I think, Shelton Benjamin or Cedric. I can't remember which one now, but one of them took the Viking Express and got pinned. We would get a backstage promo with Randy Orton. I might not be going in order here, but yeah, we get a backstage promo with Randy Orton basically talking about how he wasn't successful at last week, but that he will be watching, and he will be watching for whoever wins between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, and whoever wins, he's going to be waiting in the wings to strike because he wants the championship. He also mentioned that the Fiend, that he was asked about the Fiend and stuff, and he said that the Fiend and all that type of stuff is behind him, and that the Fiend is gone, and that he would not be a problem, or he would not be seen on Raw no more as long as he's still around. But he would get interrupted by Matt Riddle, who basically wanted to form a tag team. He's saying they support a tag team called RK Bro, and that they got magic shoe scooters. They even bring a snake, but Randy Orton would just walk away to only later find Adam Pearce and tell him that he wanted to have a match with the guy in the blonde hair who rides to school. He said, I don't even know his name. He said Matt really, yeah, that guy. Make a match between me and that guy because I want to teach him a lesson in respect. We would get a promo with Charlotte Flair. She would come out and basically have words for Asuka and Rhea, to which she started off by just saying that how she didn't mean no disrespect, and that she just wanted people to respect her and give her the respect that she deserved for, all the stuff she did for the company and stuff, not just from the higher ups. She's not demanding respect just from the higher ups and and the officials and stuff backstage, but also the women in the back too as well, and the WWE Universe, to give her the respect that she deserves. She would then get interrupted, like I said, by Asuka and Rhea, who basically Asuka kept trying to get a word, but Charlotte wouldn't let her get a word in. Rhea told Charlotte that she's game to fight whoever, but that she don't think that Charlotte is going to get past Asuka tonight. And Charlotte was like, "What? Me not get past Asuka?" And then Asuka once again tried to get a word in, but Charlotte kept cutting her off. She was like, "No, I'm the one who ended your undefeated streak." Like, talking to her like that, belittling her, telling her that she basically won't be able to get past her tonight. But Asuka would finally cut her off and basically say, "I'm going to beat your ass, you bitch," and basically setting up the match for later on tonight. We would get, we would get Matt Riddle. Next, we would get Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton, and it might not have been the actual second match, but whatever. But yeah, we'll get Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton, which was a good match. And I want to bring up one thing. The reason why I mentioned that is it was being advertised for a couple of days now before Raw that it was actually going to be Randy Orton. They already had pre-advertised that it was going to be Randy Orton versus Braun Strowman. It was supposed to be a first time ever because Randy Orton and Braun Strowman never faced each other in one-on-one competition. And but I'm guessing from what I was hearing, Vince McMahon changed it at the last moment so that instead of it being Riddle versus instead of being Randy Orton versus Braun Strowman, it ended up being Riddle versus Randy Orton. And I think this was the better choice. For once, I do agree with this decision, because this was a better match. They both were excellent together. They both put each other over, because not one didn't make the other person look bad or vice versa. It was a good back and forth in which both men could have easily won that match. Now, if I was to pick who won that match, it could have easily been either Randy Orton or Riddle, and it wouldn't have made them look bad at all. But Matt Riddle would get the upset victory over Randy Orton, and which they made an initiative to point out that Randy Orton is a former 14 or 15-time world champion, and they made it a point that Matt Riddle just got a victory over him. We then would get I think we will get the next match was Naomi and Lana versus Nia and Sonya Blazer. The match this again was another match from last week, but this time without the little goofy cameo that people get slipping and falling, they would have a normal regular match, only to be interrupted by Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, who then basically just taunted Nia by by distracting her, by showing her clips from last week, how it went from Nia and Sonya watching the clip of Mandy slipping at WrestleMania to Mandy Rose confronting Nia about it, slapping her, and then her and Dana Brooke jumping her. Then it transitioned from that to Nia's trip and slips and falls that she had herself that night. And then it would be, she would get so angry she would leave the ring to go chase after Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, to which left Sonya in the ring by herself, and Sonya would end up getting attacked or rolled up pin. By, I want to say it was either Lana or Naomi. Now I think it was Naomi because they played her music when the bell had run. So I think Naomi rolled up pin Sonya Blazer to get the victory, and Nia would turn back around like, oh crap, dang it, I forgot that we was in the middle of the match and we just lost. So this would transition to a backstage promo with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke explaining why they was doing what they was doing, because they felt like Nia and Sonya was being bullies, and they were trying to get back at the bullies. To which they would get interrupted in the middle of their promo by someone screaming, "Hey!" And they would just be like, "Gotta go." They would just quietly back away and take off. To which it was Nia Jax who was still angry, and before the backstage interviewer could ask Nia something, they would get interrupted by Sonya, who basically berating Nia for getting distracted and causing them to match. And she basically tells Nia, if you don't get your head into the game and get focused on what we need to get focused on, then she stopped herself short and just said, just get focused or else, and walked away. And then Nia yelled, or else what? And then before the segment could go away, she would get approached by Angel Garza, who I like to clarify did not say anything about what do you see in her. He said, what do you see in Reginald, that goofball Reginald. And the reason why I said it because I think on Raw they mistook what he said as what do you see in her, and he really said what do you see in Reginald. They would transition from that to a Miz TV segment where Miz and Maurice came out to celebrate the Miz and Mrs. premiere. There to basically take credit for Bad Bunny's performance at WrestleMania, but only to get interrupted by Damian Priest himself, who basically was like, "Hey, you played that clip showing on you one thing that happened, but let's play the full clip about what really happened, how you really got that victory." And they played the full clip of how he was getting dominated, and then Maurice was jumping to get involved, only for Damian Priest was like, "Hey, get up! Can you please get off the mat? Can you please get down?" And he would end up getting rolled up by the Miz. And basically, he said that if it wasn't for that, he would have had a victory in hand. But then Maurice would interject herself and say, "Hey, you want to match with the Miz tonight? Then you got it." He was, and Damian Priest like, "Okay, thanks. That's exactly what I wanted." And he would take that champagne and drink some of it, but then he was like, "Oh," he said, "Man," he said, yo, champagne is trash, bro." And they would throw champagne in his face, angering Damian Priest. Then we'll get the next match, which is Kofi Kingston versus Elias. which is again another match rehash from last week. And I think the reason why they're doing that is because they shorthanded, because we still haven't seen what you call it, the tag team champions AJ Styles and Omos. We don't have no Bobby Lashley again, no Bray Wyatt this week, and or John Morrison. So they was short-handed. So I think that's why they keep rehashing these matches from last week. And, but we got Elias. I think last week it was both teams. I think last week it was Kofi and Xavier versus Jackson Walker and Elias, and now we just got Kofi versus Elias, which is basically the singles version, the singles match version of the tag team match that we had last week. Only for them to be, only for Elias to pick up the victory this time around. Last week they lost, but this time they got the victory over Kofi Kingston. He would get a shot victory on Kofi Kingston. Or here they made a point again to note that Elias is pinned a former decorated champion. He was a former tag team champion, former Intercontinental, United States, and World Heavyweight Champion. We would get a backstage promo with Alexa Bliss talking about her time with Lily, explaining who Lily is and what Lily was the deal with Lily. Only to basically reveal that Lily's been with her this whole entire time, and that Lily is the basically tells she's the reason why Alexa do bad things. And she said that she told a story about how she was on the playground one day with this girl, and she wanted the girl's ice cream, a piece of the girl's ice cream, I think scoop or bar. And she said that when the girl was being mean and snotty to her, Lily didn't like it too much, so Lily told her to do something about it. So she pushed the girl off the swing, and the girl ended up falling off the swing, breaking her arm. And she said I was able to get her ice cream bar and scoop it up and eat it myself. And when she was confronted by the parents or the teachers, they asked her why did she do it, and she said, well, Lily made me do it. And they thought she was crazy, but she said that's what Lily is about. If Lily wants to get you, she will get you. And they mentioned how they mentioned a warning. They mentioned Alexa gave like a warning to all the women in the back room, telling them that Lily doesn't like all of them, so she wants me to hurt all of you. So I'm guessing Alexa is going to finally get back into wrestling for a title. I'm assuming she's basically waiting for her time to come for a title. We would get a backstage promo with Sheamus talking to Adam Pearce. And I think he was talking to him about how Adam Pearce was talking to him about the prestige of the United States Championship and the people who had it before him. And he even mentioned John Cena about the Open Challenge, the U.S. Open Challenge he did. And he was trying to encourage Sheamus to do the same. And Sheamus said, you know what? Since you try to goad me into it, because I'm not John Cena, but since you try to goad me into it, fine, I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it my way. This was set up later on tonight. Miz and Damian Priest would have their match, and their match was okay. It was good, but it like I said, it was a rehash of almost last week, except minus John Morrison. But this time it had the opposite effect. They tried to pull the cheat and stuff again, but Damian Priest this time would be ready for it, and he ended up I forgot his what his finisher is, but he ended up hitting his finisher on the Miz, getting the pin 1, 2, 3. And once again, acknowledging that he's a former champion. This is a night of people who's never been champion pinning former champions, trying to set up some type of future where they could be champions now because they're able to pin former champions. So I said, what else happened? Yeah, then we would get the little segment with Sheamus trying to do his U.S. Open challenge, and he's saying who wants to step up to me and get their hand on true gold, who wants to step up, and fight me. I think he even said in the backstage promo that, but it won't be not a non-title match, but he will do an open challenge, but just not for the title. Um, Herberto Carrillo will be the one to come out and answer the call. He would try to come out and get in Sheamus' face, for the match. But Sheamus angry that Herberto came out at all, just basically beat up on him and destroying him. Telling him about how he want that this is what you want. You'll never get this. This is as close as you're gonna get to the goal. And he just basically destroyed Herberto Carrillo. This will lead into the Mace versus the Drew McIntyre and Mace and T-Bar handicap match, in which it pretty much went like you expect. They got Mace and T-Bar was dominating for most part because it was a handicap match, but Drew McIntyre would finally get his offense in and turn the tables to where he's now dominating both of them. But they would both gang up on Drew McIntyre in the corner. To which the referee's like 1, 2, they want to get it, so they called it off. The retribution, or I want to say retribution, Mason T-Bar has been disqualified, giving Drew McIntyre the win. But they continue to beat down on him to where Braun Strowman would come out and even the odds. Now I guess they had to do something with Braun Strowman, so I guess that's why they switched it up, because they wanted Braun Strowman to help Drew. This was actually better than the original match because there was a lot of jaw jacking. Mason T-Bar would basically, jaw jacking with both Drew and Braun Strowman throughout the match. Tanya telling Braun he ain't no monster, he ain't this, he ain't that, he's just a regular man. But yeah, it was better than the actual handicap match, and it actually was fun. They actually went back and forth until Drew would rip off the mask of Mace, and Mace would basically get mad because that we see Mace full face for the first time. We all know that Dio Madden, is his name Dion, something like that. But yeah, they were. They were getting each other's face, and he would taunt Mace about how he made the improvement, how he looked way better without the mask, and Mace would smack him, which angered Drew McIntyre. It caused Drew McIntyre to drag him into the corner, beating him repeatedly with the mask until basically in another disqualification. This time, instead of giving Drew McIntyre win, the new disqualification gave Mace and T-Bar the victory. And T-Bar would try to get involved and beat up on Drew McIntyre, only for Braun Strowman. They come in and knock him down, rip off his mask, and start beating him with it. And they both retreated up the ramp with both Drew McIntyre and Braun throwing the mask at them. And I think this is this is fighting at the end of the whole Retribution angle for them, because they didn't even have the Retribution Titantron when they came out. But yeah, this would lead into the final match of the night, which was Charlotte versus Asuka. And this was a good back and forth match. And as we expected, with Rhea being at ringside, eventually she was going to get involved. But yeah, it went back and forth. Charlotte getting surprised by Asuka. Asuka getting surprised by Charlotte. They would go back and forth, and it looked like, and just when it looked like Charlotte was about to have the victory at hand, thanks to a knee injury suffered, thanks to Charlotte, the victory was almost at hand for Charlotte until Rhea would get involved, without the referee knowing, breaking up the figure eight, which Charlotte would try to grab Rhea and beat up on her, but Asuka would get involved, kicking her after she got a roll up pin on Charlotte, which angered Charlotte and basically made Charlotte snap on the referee, beating up a referee. Then they revealed later on in the night that she got fired. But that's it. That's all I got. That was the end of the show. If I would give this show anything, I'd give it 8 big ups, just because it was a great show. It's just have a problem with a lot of rehash stuff. But otherwise, way better than last week. But yeah, this was way, way better than last week's episode. They just had a lot of rehash because of all the downsizing. But yeah, if you could hit this button right here, it will take you to all of my wrestling reviews. Hit this button if you're not subscribed to the channel. Or hit any one of these videos for more amazing content. Chief out.